talks have begun today to try to end the civil war in Sudan, which has claimed thousands of lives and driven millions from their homes. The talks in Switzerland come after almost a year and a half of brutal conflict between the Sudanese army and the RSF paramilitary forces. However, the Sudanese government, whose forces have been fighting the paramilitary RSF, will not be represented. The Sudanese government objects to the presence of the United Arab Emirates as an observer, accusing the UAE of backing the other side. But the US, which is sponsoring the talks, believes the presence of both the UAE and Egypt is crucial to helping ensure any agreed ceasefire actually holds. Correspondents say ceasefire talks without one of the two warring parties is hardly an auspicious start. With more on the peace talks, let's cross live to London and speak with the RISE correspondent Lape Olarinoye, who's been watching developments from there. Good to see you, Lape. So talks underway in Geneva to try to secure a ceasefire in Sudan. The RSF rebels are represented, but not the government. Why is that?
Well, yes, absolutely. I mean, it's been a long time coming, like you rightly pointed out. It's been 15 months of waiting for these talks to materialize, and now that's currently underway. The government, the group that's represented by the government, has decided not to turn up, saying that they won't be engaging in any kind of talks. Now, the reasons for that are still very unclear, but some of the factors contributing to that are, for example, the influence of external parties like international bodies. For example, on one hand, they say the interference of the UAE as well as the US and the UK is one of those contributing factors. In fact, we know that the group that represents the government is very much anti-West, and allegedly anything that has Western influence automatically dissuades them from furthering any peace talks. So on one side, there's an argument that is one of the reasons why they've decided to not turn up. But actually, it's a long time that people have been waiting for this. There's currently millions of people displaced. In fact, one of the most displaced people in the world are said to be at the crux, at the center of this war. Now, another element, of course, of this, as a result of the need and necessity for these peace talks, is the result of famine. The fact that so many people have become hungry as a result of this. Again, looking at the statistics, the sheer amount of people that are hungry, women and children from Sudan, are said to be some of the highest in the world. So these peace talks couldn't have come any sooner, but there's no sign just yet, Charles, that this will be making any kind of headway. They still can't get both sides to agree. There's still an ongoing power tussle.
Indeed, as you said, Lape, no evidence at all that this will move towards a ceasefire. But at the very least, I mean, might they be able to extract more commitments from the RSF, which is there at those talks, to, for instance, respect human rights and the rights of civilians?
Well, that's a big part of it. Many food aid and humanitarian aid organizations, charitable organizations, have said they simply cannot get inroads to deliver food, to deliver humanitarian aid to starving, to hungry people who are dying every day because of famine. In fact, there's one displaced people center called the Zamzam Center, where it hosts hundreds of thousands of Sudanese women, children, and families who have said that they have not been able to get any food to them whatsoever. So that is one of those leverages that the US have described it as an act of cowardice. The fact that both sides, warring sides, have not allowed their people to even have any kind of food. They're saying they're using it as a weapon of war. So that's a very strong allegation, but actually all the evidence is there. People continue to flee. There's said to have been 9 million people that have fled the country since this war broke out once again. But it's been, historically, this is an ongoing feud. Now, it's not just about the humanitarian angle as well, as you've rightly pointed out. It's also the fact that some of the demands that, for example, the RSF are making is to include a certain number of their armed men into the government's official army. That's something that the government's body is not agreeing to. The paramilitary are saying that they're not backing down on that. And that's one of the major issues between the two sides. They continue to disagree. They continue to not want to let go of power from both sides. Both leaders don't want to let go of the power. And actually, the people that are the collateral damage in all of this are the millions of Sudanese people who have had to flee and those who remain quite hungry.
Indeed. Lape, thanks very much indeed. Lape Olarinoye is a RISE correspondent. She was talking to me on the line there from London.